Hi, my name's Liz Nicholson. I'm chair of Wester Loch Ewe Trust, which was founded in 2015 to take the beautiful school building that I'm standing in front of into community ownership. First of all, I probably should say that I first came into the area in the early 70s to meet my future in-laws and was totally welcomed into the community. My late mother-in-law was the head teacher here for 31 years. She retired during the late 70s, and we had 2 or 3 other head teachers. However, my husband and I, when I got early retirement, moved up here in 2009, as we both loved the area. And not long after we came, we discovered that things weren't going so well in terms of children to go into the school. And in fact, there was going to be a gap in intake of a few years. And this, in 2012, rather suddenly, it seemed to the community, Highland Council decided to mothball the school, and the children would then go to Pooyu Primary. This, of course, didn't please the community, a natural thing, and they were losing not only the school, but they were losing a place to meet. So when the Highland Council representatives came, we actually asked them what was going to happen. You know, where were groups that already used the school rooms when the school was closed in the evenings? What was to happen to them? What was going to happen to the community? You know, it is a community that's strung out over 9 miles, if you like, from Cove to Pooyu, and it includes Inverasdale and Nast. You know, people want to be able to come together. So they would consider it, and indeed we were allowed to use the school building. We formed a committee in 2012 to celebrate the place of this school in the community, because it had been built in 1876 and had been a huge part of the community. Since then, I was very fortunate with that particular group that formed. We had several members of it who were young people themselves, had attended the school and were now in Gairloch High School, and were passionate that this building too should remain in the community. They were great help. We planned an event for the weekend beginning the Friday the 21st of June in 2013 to celebrate the community. Word of mouth, etc., went out to people all over the place. And lo and behold, I think we had 3 barbecues going on around the school. And we were so lucky. We had a wonderful sunny day, non-midgy. It was great. This whole process was opened by a gentleman who had been born in the schoolhouse back in the 30s when his father had been the school teacher. He rang the little handbell to convene everyone. So we had a brilliant evening, we had a brilliant day the next day. As a community group, we were absolutely bowled over by the support from the community and the diaspora. It was said that day that we couldn't possibly lose the school, and the only way that the Highland Council would really speak to us was if we formed a company and a charity, which we did at the beginning, well, early 2015. The founder members of Wester Loch Ewe Trust were spread out between Nast and Cove. There was somebody from each little township. That worked pretty well. We started off running a tea room. We were joined by what was then the Russian Arctic convoys. They left a couple of years later because they needed their own place to expand in. We got funding from the Scottish Land Fund to help us take the school into the community. We didn't actually manage that until 2018. I think it was about the 28th of November, because the process with Highland Council was the kind of thing where you begin to tear your hair out. Anyhow, we did get there, and we had by then been looking for funding to renovate the school and extend it a little bit. And we'd got money from what was then Prince's Countryside Fund, who gave us 25,000 to fit out the new kitchen, which was then in the planning stage. We got money from the National Lottery Fund, yes, the community arm, I think, of that, and from Regeneration Capital Grant Fund, which was the major amount of money, which sadly was confirmed 1 week before the first lockdown, 2020. It took us until the end of that year to get permission to identify someone to take ahead the building works on our behalf. And it took from that time until it was later that summer when the building works started. 2021 they started, finished in 2022, and left us with a lovely place to meet, which we call the Old Schoolhouse Tea Room. And that name was selected by the community. There was a vote, there were several suggested names, but that's what it was known as, and people felt it should remain the same. And since then, we have sadly only been able to manage to open regularly 1 day a week throughout the year, though, to provide tea, coffee and cake to whoever comes past, community and visitors. And we're very well supported. And now we're hoping to go on to phase 2. No doubt that'll take another couple of years to get the funding package together for that. And we hope to upgrade the classrooms. One, to make another usable space, very flexible usable space, which could be used for small weddings, or it could be used to play table tennis or whatever. That's how we're designing it. And a small bunkhouse, toilets and showers. Obviously, one of the main reasons to take ownership of the building and keep it in the community was to be able to plan ahead for the future, part of which we're doing just now. And we're hoping to, we have actually probably got some land in Poolew, which we hope will provide the whole area with an emergency helipad, and we're hoping to get some affordable housing there. And that wouldn't ever have happened had we not had the building that stands in, because people are used to seeing us here. They're used to what we have done and what we can do, because aside from all of that, earlier this year, we took on responsibility for the public conveniences in Poolew, and these are cleaned by volunteers. But the community were absolutely thankful that these had been reopened. So we're in a sense, we're branching out, and that is our story.